What's going on? Squaw Valley and Alpine Meadow Ski Team athletes, Mark Dyer here, Performance Program Manager, here to go over our Essentials video series. So the Essential video series is going to be going over all of our foundational movements, right? So we're going to go over athletic stance and proper landing mechanics in this first video. Second video is going to be our squat pattern, then we're going to go into our hinge pattern, then upper body push and pull patterns along with some core bracing. So again, you're going to see all these movements throughout our programs and videos, and all of these programs are going to have a combination of squat, hinge, push, and pull. So that's why if you're a new athlete into the dryland training or a new athlete who came into squaw, these are great videos to go over all these fundamental movements that build our foundation for the programming and strength and conditioning programs. So the first one we are going to go over today is the athletic stance. Right? That is one of the most important foundational movements, and we all start our squat pattern, our hinge pattern, our push and pull in that athletic stance. So it's one to have dialed. And if you've been a multi-sport athlete before, you're pretty familiar with this, right? But we think about our athletic stance and being in a strong, stacked position. So right, athletic stance is right here. We think about loading the hips, and we're in an athletic stance. So you see my chest is forward, shoulders are rolled back, knees are right under hips, and ankles are right under knees. Feet are forward, ready to go in any which direction. So if I'm in this strong position, I can go left, right, forward, back, up, down, right? So that's what we're thinking about, is keeping the body in total alignment in a stacked position. A stacked position just means all joints are standing on top of each other to deliver the most power and force out of that position, right? So that's what we want to focus on, is that strong athletic stance. I like to think of it as my chest, nose, knees, and toes all in proper alignment, right? And the biggest thing to remember in this is those shoulders have to be rolled back to open up that chest, right? A lot of people get into this motion right here, and you can already see it causes some rounding and flexing on my back. It's not a stacked position in a strong position. So that is going to be our first fundamental movement, is that athletic stance. See, everything is in proper alignment there. So now we're going to transfer over that athletic stance over into some proper landing mechanics. Now on a lot of my programs and warm-ups, you'll see what are called snap downs. Now this is going to reinforce proper landing mechanics for all athletes, right? So you'll see a snap down as we go into full extension. This is to practice our landing mechanics and how to manage load through our body, right? So for a snap down, we're going to start in full extension. So up to the sky, reaching for the ceiling on the tippy toes. Now a snap down, we're going to forcefully pull ourselves into that athletic stance. So just like we were working on before, I'm up tall, and then I'm going to rapidly pull myself in that athletic stance. Right? Side view here, up tall, into the athletic stance. Up tall, into the athletic stance. Now again, you can see you rapidly pull yourself into that strong position, right? And I go over these in my warm-ups and in my programs because again, it reinforces that body being stacked in a position. And if we can get our body to think about being in that position, when we're out on the hill, we'll naturally pull ourselves into that strong position to get the most transfer out of our skis, right? So again, up tall, down low. That is a snap down. And again, we can challenge this movement by bringing it to a single leg as well. So we're up tall, pull yourself on one leg. Now this is where you're going to feel yourself trying to stabilize, right? And the biggest thing is that we don't let that knee collapse in, right? We talk about that valgus knee. That is in a stacked position. All those forces from the ground and from my upper body are going right into the knees. So we want to think about always pulling it out into a strong position and avoiding this knee collapse. So again, snap downs are a great way to start learning how to properly carry and manage load through our body weight, right? Into those landing mechanics before we get into any serious plyometrics. So that is the first video series of our essentials. We went over the athletic stance, how to be in a strong, stacked athletic position, and then we started going over some micro or beginner plyometrics with the snap down landings to reinforce that strong athletic stance. And that is going to be the first of our many video series. Next is the squat, which we're going to take these movements we learned in video 1 and bring them to the squat pattern.